luck of the Irish is on your side. I've got a quick and easy way to make a shamrock block coming up next. Stick around. Hi everyone, I'm Paula. Do you have a masterpiece in mind that you'd like to create? I hope that any inspiration and guidance that I show you today will help you along the way. If you like what you see, please hit that subscribe button below. Today, in honor of St. Patrick's Day coming up next week, I have a very quick and easy shamrock quilt block tutorial that I want to show you today. Now this table runner here is super easy to do. It's just 4 blocks. It's 4 blocks total. And it's just a very simple little sashing and a border. It's super simple. The best part about this project is there is no curved piecing. This is a raw edge applique project that uses a very special stitch that ensures there's going to be no fraying at the end. I know you're going to love this project. Let's get started. Okay, so you're going to need some materials. All the supply links are in the description below in case you need any of these. First of all, you're going to need a sewing machine that has the couching stitch. It looks like this. I'm using my Brother SQ9285. If you are looking for a machine, you will find a link for a Brother that offers this same stitch in the video description below. You're also going to need a 10-inch background square per block. You will also need 4 5-inch charm squares or some scrap pieces that are at least 4 inches by 5 inches. You'll need some Reynolds freezer paper, an Elmer's washable disappearing school glue stick. You will either need a clear flexible cutting mat or a cereal box or a cracker box. You'll need my Mama's Little Hearts pattern. You can find this in my Ko-fi shop, and the link is also in the description below. And you'll need a pair of non-fabric scissors. Let's get started. To start, we need to make a template for our little heart pattern. You can use cardboard, and when I say cardboard, I mean like a cracker box or a cereal box, something that is not corrugated. Or you can also use the clear plastic chopping mat to make a template as well. If you're going to use the cardboard, what I suggest you do is take your pattern and cut out the heart and then glue this on to your cardboard. It's going to be so much easier than trying to trace somehow that shape onto the cardboard. Just take your glue stick, bunch of glue on the back here, set it down right on the cardboard. Okay, now you can take your non-fabric scissors and you can cut the shape out. And just like that, it's done. Now, if you'd like to actually make a plastic template, this is going to last a little bit longer as well. That's super easy. You're going to take one of your chopping mats or a piece if you have some left over. You're going to take a piece of it. You're going to look at both sides. One side is very shiny and then the other side is very dull. You're going to have the dull side up. You're going to set that down right onto your pattern. And you're going to tape that down like that. Grab a Sharpie and you're just going to trace right over the top. And then you're going to take your non-fabric scissors and you're going to cut out the shape. And just like that, it's done. Make sure you put a little label to know exactly which pattern it is. I just put Mama's Little Hearts pattern. Now we need to iron all of our fabrics. For every block, you're going to need a 10-inch background square. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that that is nice and flat. All the wrinkles are out of it. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to fold this diagonally and iron that crease. We're going to open this up and we're going to fold it in the opposite direction diagonally. And we're going to iron that crease. There we go. Now we can set that aside. Now with all of our little pieces, what we're going to do is we are going to iron a piece of freezer paper onto the back of every single one of these. You want to make sure that your freezer paper is the same size as your piece of fabric. You're going to put the shiny side of the freezer paper up, and you're going to put the wrong side of the fabric against that. So pretty side up for the fabric and shiny side up for the freezer paper, and you're going to iron that on just like that. You'll do this for all 4 pieces. So it's time now to trace out our shapes onto the backs of our fabric. So we're going to flip this over. This is the paper side of the freezer paper. We're going to set our pattern down, and we're just going to take a pencil or pen. I like pencil. And we're just going to trace around the shape. And now we're going to cut out these shapes with our non-fabric scissors. We're going to do this for all 4. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, post a comment in the comment section below, and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss a single step in future videos. Love what you see? Don't forget to join me live on Twitch for interactive tutorials and real-time fun, Monday through Wednesday. You'll find my channel link in the description below. When you're done cutting them out, you're just going to wrestle this a little bit, and then you're just going to peel our freezer paper right off the back. It does not leave a sticky residue. Okay, now it's time to put our shapes onto our background square. You're going to take one of your shapes, and you're going to notice that you have the inner point on the heart and you have the outer point of the heart. You also have these lines, these fold lines. What you're going to do is you're going to line up the 2 points with the fold lines, and this outer point is going to match that center intersection. So I'm just going to put down that center intersection. I'm going to hold my finger here so I can pivot this as I need to. I'm going to line up that inside point with that fold line, and I'm going to leave it there. Take the next shape. I'm going to set it down on that intersection and make sure that this inside point matches that fold line. The next one, put the center point onto the center intersection, line that inside point with the fold line, and I'm going to take the next one, do the same thing. I'm going to set this down on the center intersection, and then I'm going to line up this inside point with that fold line. Now, we have to do a little trick here. I'm just going to hold my fingers right in the center of all 4 of those while I lift up this one side of the first shape that we put down, and I'm going to lift that up and I'm going to put it on top very gently, just like that. Now they're all intertwined. So the next step we're going to do is we're going to take our glue stick, and we are going to very carefully lift up each side of the heart at the top, and we're just going to put a little bit of glue, and we're going to set that back down. We're going to do that for every single side, upper point, if you will, of the hearts. Lift up the left side, lift up the right side. Left side, and the right side. Until we've gone all the way around our entire piece. Okay, they're all down there now. Now we're ready to sew. Now, before we start sewing anything, I want to take a minute to give you some details on exactly what this stitch is and how I use it. Okay, so this is the stitch here. It's called the couching stitch. I set my machine to have a stitch length of 2.0 and a stitch width of 5.0. Okay, what I do when I am using this stitch is when I'm sewing down a shape, I take the center of this stitch and that's where I line up the edge of my shape. Okay, so as I go along, I'm always pivoting and making sure that this stitch is right in the center of this shape at all times. In order for me to do that, I concentrate on my presser foot. So on my presser foot, I have a little center mark right here. Okay. And it just so happens that as you're sewing this stitch, that center mark on my presser foot is exactly the center of the stitch itself. So then all I have to do is line up the center of my presser foot on the outside edge of my shape. And I will know that I've got equal parts of that stitch going on both sides of this shape at all times. Okay. I don't have a camera that will show you as I'm stitching, so I just thought I'd take this time to show you this little bit of a detail, okay? So again, couching stitch, stitch length 2.0, stitch width 5.0. I'm going to take my presser foot and I'm going to make sure that the edge of my shape is always on the center mark of my presser foot as I'm sewing. Now, as we're stitching, you can make up your mind on how you want to stitch this out. What I typically do is I start in the center and I go around like so, and then I go across, and then I go this direction and end in the center. Okay, so that's one line of stitching. And then I'll take another go at it and I'll go down this side here and then tie off, and then I'll go down this side here and tie off. You make up your mind on what you'd like to do though. It's totally up to you. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I've got plenty of tails here on the bobbin thread and the top thread, because I like to tie those off in the back of the block when I'm done. So I've got about, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches here. That's fine. Then I'm just going to bring my block up and put the center of my presser foot right on the line in the center intersection of my shapes. I've got, again, stitch length 2.0, stitch width 5.0. And now I am just going to start sewing. I just do very gentle pivots here. So one of the great things about a brother is it's got a little governor here. So if you put pedal to the metal, you can either go full speed or you can turn that governor down just a little bit so it goes a little bit slower. And I do like to go a little bit slower around these turns so that I'm a little bit more accurate. So I've got my governor set at about, I don't know, 2/3 of the way to high. Okay. And then I can just go through these corners very, very smoothly. You're going to notice as this stitch is going, it stitches 3 stitches on one side, goes to the middle, 3 stitches on the other side, goes to the middle. It's this rhythm. So as you're approaching that inside point of the heart, I want you to try to stop it on that inside point with the needle in the center position. Okay, there we go. I have my needle in the down position. Every time I stop, my needle's in the down position. I'm going to lift up my presser foot and I'm going to rotate this. Okay, so my needle is holding on to the exact spot I'm at, but I'm going to rotate this so that the edge of the shape is on that center point of my presser foot, and I'm going to continue to keep going. And I'm approaching my next shape where I'm going to go straight down the middle. I'm not going to go around that next shape. I'm just going to stop, pivot, and go straight down the middle. So again, I'm going to stop that stitch with the needle in the center position. I'll lift up my presser foot and I'm going to rotate it again and line up that center point of my presser foot with the edge of the shape and continue to go down this direction. And I'm literally just sitting here staring at that center mark of my presser foot and the edge of that shape. That's all I'm looking at. And I'm just driving it and making sure that those 2 points are matched nicely. Now I'm approaching the center here and I've got my top thread all in my way. So I am actually going to take a needle and I'm going to thread it with this top thread, and I'm going to send this thread right down to the back of my block. And then I'm going to grab both of those threads and I'm just going to get them out of the way. So I'm just pulling them out of the way so I don't run them over and make a mess. Keep going. I've got an intersection coming up here. I'm going to stop with the needle in the center position. There we go. Lift up my presser foot and pivot and go down this next shape. I'm going to slow it down because this is kind of an opposite direction than what I'm used to. I'm going to make sure that my block lays nice and flat as well. Doesn't get all bunched up like it just almost did. Just taking my time. Come into the center point again. The inside point of the heart. Pivot. Do that again. Slowing it way down. There we go. Heading toward the center again. And then when I'm back in the center, I'm going to lift up my needle, bring my work out, leaving some tails. Send my thread to the back. And then before I go any further here, I'm just going to tie off. I'm going to grab 2 threads in one hand and 2 threads in the other hand. I'm going to make a double knot. And then I'm going to cut these off so they're like an inch long. Now I'm ready to do the last 2 parts of my heart. Let's do the last side to this. All right, we're done. We just need to tie off these other threads. We can take a look at it. Just going to tie these in a double knot. Cut them off so they're about an inch long. Now the good thing about this stitch is it doesn't come out very easily. So if you don't have the tails to tie off, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Just send your top thread to the back as best you can, and you should be fine. Okay, and this is our finished block. And that stitch, in my opinion, almost looks like lace, doesn't it? It's so pretty. Now, if you wanted to embroider stems, you could, but I think the block is lovely just like it is. So here's a look at our table runner. Our table runner, again, is made up of 4 individual blocks. And then all I did to put this together was I just put some sashing in between each of these blocks. I used 1, 2, 3 sashings for here. And then I did a little bit wider border all the way around. Okay, so I added these end borders first, and then I added the long borders last. This particular table runner, I did a long arm quilt on my long arm on Ruthie, and it's just got little clovers on it. I think it's just darling. And here's the back. Now I want to show you how versatile this block is. It doesn't have to necessarily be a clover. You can see here, just a patchwork block. I think it's lovely. Or if you want to applique a center, turns into a flower. Well, I sure hope you've enjoyed this week's project, the Shamrock Quilt block, which can also be flowers or whatever else you want it to be. I think it's so much fun myself. Now stay tuned for the next video. I have a bonus project that you can do with this exact same pattern. So stay tuned for that. Well, as always, I want to thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I can't wait to see you next time. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other. Happy quilting. Bye, everyone.